Welcome to the Ubuntu Touch Q&A, the UBports Foundation show discussing the development of Ubuntu Touch and our community's questions. This is episode 32, recorded live on July 14th, 2018. My name is Dalton. I'm back, and joining me this week are Jan.
Hello.
And Marius.
Hey.
Let's just post this message. Notify all members, of course. All right, let's see how many people complain about that one.
Just
so,
to sleep.
It's been a while, but I'm back. But that's not the important part because the other two are the more important ones here.
You hear that, Marius? You're important.
Once in lifetime.
Ouch.
Ouch.
Should we talk about what's going on with our newest update of Ubuntu Touch, OTA 4?
Oh, yeah. There has been a lot of more intense work and a lot of more head pain because of Oxide. So let's get back to what we decided with Oxide, but a little bit more on the status and where we are right now. So one of the things that we brought in is the Libertine container is now installed by default, even though it's fairly unstable and it's fairly hacky to get around. But we chose to include it there. Yeah, you see
there it is.
Installing.
Does this thing have a 50 hertz? Like, why is this refreshing weird? I don't know why my camera does that.
I don't know. And it's, as I said, it's fairly hacky. You have to do some fiddling to get it working.
But to explain what Libertine is, even.
Yeah. Forgot about that. So Libertine is a container inside, or on top of Ubuntu Touch, where you can install legacy X11 apps. Is targeted at X11 apps. Of course, you can install other applications in it and other terminal application, but the main usage for it is X11 apps and be able to run X11 apps, which is the legacy apps like LibreOffice and GIMP, whatever you want to run on it. And
Solitaire, Isle Riot.
Yeah, whatever desktop application you have. It's mostly targeted for the converged experience, since most, if not all, of the applications are not optimized for phone in whatsoever. So, for example, Firefox will require you to have extremely small fingers to use on a phone. But it's, as I said, it's targeted for the desktop use, and when you dock your phone down, you can plug up LibreOffice and write your documents on a big screen. That's mainly what it's used for. We wanted to include it because it's such a, even though it's unstable, it's such an amazing feature, and see what the power it can bring. It just needs more love and more caring. That's also why we wanted to include it, so people get attention on it, and hopefully we can get a helping hand. It's written in Python, so it's fairly easy to get started on.
That's the best part of it.
If it only was written in Node, it will work. It will already work. That's the thing.
Yeah, and we also wouldn't have any more RAM left on the phone.
Oh,
shots fired.
Jan.
I think that's the container manager. It is. We can. This one's still installing because I started it right before we started here, and it takes about 30 minutes or so. But if we go in, we can see what it's doing. Oh, shot. That's what I get for trying to show it off. It is installing, but it's not showing the progress. That's what I get.
Yeah, it does that sometimes.
It does. It needs a lot of work. We're gonna be honest with that one.
It needs a lot of work, but you can fiddle around with it and play with it, and it's actually usable when you get the first package installed. If you're using the terminal, that's a lot more reliable and seems to work a lot better. The terminal CLI, if you know how to get around that, then it seems to work pretty nicely. But the app or the system settings component still needs quite a lot of work.
Right.
And
so if you're running the Devil image or the RC image, that will be in managed Libertine containers. No, it just says Libertine in the settings list. It's down under System.
Yeah.
That's how you can get to that. If you'd like to contribute to it, it is the Libertine. Let's see. It is the Libertine.
It's just called Libertine.
It's called Libertine.
Yeah.
And you have the Libertine scope, which is the scope where you can launch the application itself. That also needs some love, especially now that we see that if you install with the app, it doesn't seem to appear. But somehow, if you install with the CLI, it appears for me, but I'm not sure. It's
yeah. So if we haven't made it clear, this is a preview feature.
Yes, it's really.
But we know that people like having these desktop apps around, so we would really appreciate if someone could help us make this better.
Yeah. So far, what we did is basically just include what existed and ship that. So the attention is there, and it's, if someone wants to work on it, great. If not, someone will eventually.
Yeah. I think we've beaten that horse to death.
I think so. Okay, so another thing that is that was added recently to the 1604 Devil images is some scripts that help with quality assurance. So this is really exciting, and this is really, well, not exciting, but for me it is really helpful. And for the QA team, it's really helpful because we now have a small terminal application that you can just run to install packages from a pull request on GitHub. So what you can do is just open the terminal app and type UBports-QA, and then the name of a repository on GitHub and the number of a pull request, and it will automatically install the pre-built packages from that pull request. So you can test a little more efficiently, and you don't have to manually remount your root partition as read-write. You don't have to manually add the PPA and so on. So the script does all the heavy lifting for you. And it also helps you removing it again. So that's really helpful. So yeah, that is, I think it's not in the Devil image yet. It will be in the next one. But that is just UBports -QA in the terminal, and then you're good to go.
That's also Python, if anyone's interested.
It's also Python.
Python is really fun. It's I don't write it that much, and Marius created the script. And then when we shipped it, I found a small bug, and then I pretty much just made a guess to fix it, and it worked.
Isn't that great?
You only get that in Python. That's just amazing.
That can't be from my code. That has to be something I copied from the internet, because I never make bugs. So just keep that in mind.
I never make mistakes.
It was pretty sufficient, though.
Okay, speaking of bugs, I have a few that people have been waiting for. And yeah, we're going to talk about bug fixes. The Wi-Fi hotspot on the Nexus 5 and OnePlus One, we would like if everyone could test that out again, because we have fixed the bug that was causing you to be unable to turn it on, set it up, or anything. So if you have a Nexus 5 or a OnePlus One running 1604 Devil right now, check that out. Another thing. We had an issue where Wi-Fi would look like it was on, but on the Nexus 5, it wouldn't find any hotspots or access points or anything. We had a few people asking about that. Yeah, nice Nexus 5s, Jan. So the issue was, if you turned off Wi-Fi and then rebooted your phone, the interface would say that it was on, but it was off yet, and you couldn't turn it back on. We believe that we've fixed that issue as well, so if you could test that out, especially turning off Wi-Fi, rebooting, flight mode. Try those buttons and knobs out. Make sure those are working right. Who changed this to say Dalton the Third? A third issue that we were getting a lot of interest on, the calendar events and alarms. If you created them at one point or online on an online calendar, they appeared in UTC rather than your local time. So they were a few hours off at best. That should also be fixed. So everyone who's got online calendar syncing to your device, check those out. Make sure that they're all working right. And that will help us. That's quality assurance.
By the way, all these issues we talked about now are 1604, so
Right.
doesn't affect anything on 1504.
Yep.
And on the topic of 1504 and 1604, we have some small strategy update on OTA 4. So likely when we release OTA 4, which will be on July 30th, the 1504 stable channel, which is currently OTA 3, will stay open for the time being. So if you are currently on 1504 OTA 3, you will not be automatically redirected to OTA 4 for now. So that is because we still have some issues. Marius already mentioned Oxide, which is the web browser. So that is still a little unstable, or well, it is pretty unstable in OTA 4, and we are still working on it, but it might still have some issues when we launch, and there are also some other issues. This will give us a little time as a transitional period to wait for all the app developers to compile their apps for 1604. So why are we doing this? Yeah, we then want to bring out OTA 5 at max a month later, which will basically be just a bug fixing release. And there we will have the browser fixed, definitely, and completely fixed and stable, and also all the web apps fixed and stable and so on. And yeah, if someone wants to switch and says, okay, I want to use OTA 4 now, I am okay with these small problems, they can do that manually, of course, and then as soon as OTA 5 is out, they will be able to just use the update feature. But yeah, for OTA 4, OTA 3 to OTA 4 will not be automatically redirected. So that is a small update.
Correct. I believe then the only way to go from OTA 3 to OTA 4 will be either the installer or system image CLI on the phone.
Exactly, yeah.
And you can do that in place with your data. However, the experience probably won't be as good as if you wait until OTA 5 comes out. Specifically right now, we've got something in the works to welcome you back to 1604 once you get there, and help you reinstall all of your apps because your apps probably won't be compatible, and make sure that everything's up to date and that you're ready to go.
Mm-hmm. And also, while we are a topic of bug fixing and OTA 4, we also now have switched all the apps back to Click because we had a period where we had tab packages because simply we didn't have the opportunity to build Click back then, and the ABI was uncountability and etc. etc. So now all the apps are back, so there will be no duplicates, which was one of the biggest issue that we had with tab packages, and also that they can't be updated independently from system updates. Now that's fixed. Every app is back on track there. And also, while we are on the topic of bug fixes, both the clock app and the calendar is now fixed where they don't crash because of how the Qt PIM, which is a library that it uses, crashed because of setting invalid date, which is not valid in newer version of Qt. So a lot of bug fixes and a lot of smaller issues that we have been working on, and also a new component which we called our firm flasher, which is a great name, which is a firmware flasher for mostly the Fire Phone devices, and also will be expanded to the other Qualcomm devices we have. Basically, this does is flashing the firmwares, the modem, and the logos, etc., live on the phone, so you don't have to reboot to do those kind of things. And also, it does in a safe manner where it makes sure that the MD5 sum hash is valid before it reboots.
That means that your phone is going to be great, and it's going to be better because of the update.
Yeah, less reboots, especially on a Fair phone, which has been a big problem. I think that's where the most notable issue is because of bad modem drivers and etc.
The older ones, we're going to be updating all of those.
Yeah. The older one was bad. The newer one is better.
Okay, so yeah, last couple of weeks have been a lot of spit and polish on the 1604 OTA4, and that decision that we're not automatically redirecting people until the next update. So after OTA4 comes out, it's going to be a ton of work on the browser and making that all come into place.
Yeah, I think the browser is definitely the biggest challenge we are facing right now. The rest of the system is fairly stable at this point. There is some couple of small bugs and regression we have to fix, except for the browser. I think the browser is the one major thing that's the single reason why we won't take users and just rip them out of Vivid just yet.
It's not violent. It's just an upgrade.
No, it's just an update, but we don't want to take them away. But of course, if you want to go on the stable channels on Vivid, on Xenial, we will try to make that as pleasant as possible.
Yep, then we'll have instructions on how to do that.
It is definitely usable, and we still want to release OTA4 and say this is stable now, because we feel that for the most part the improvements we made outweigh the regressions. But it really depends on your use case as well. And for the average user who will not want to touch the terminal and will not want to do any advanced stuff, it is probably better to just wait a month and then just update as soon as OTA5 is out. Which will be a lot smaller release, of course.
Right. You also don't, if you want to do it, you can also do it a bit. You don't even need to touch the terminal. You can work around this with switching to the RC channel and then switch back. Because the RC...
Oh, yeah, that would work too. That would work.
So...
we'll have all of those instructions when it's time.
Yeah. But this is not because, as Jan said, this is not because we are not ready with OTA4. It's just to make the user our choice because of the browser. The browser, we know that the browser is a crucial part. It's not that bad, but it's some website, especially website that loads heavily on PNG images because it kills itself when it loads an invalid PNG image, and that's when it crashes. But else than that, the browser works. Watching YouTube videos and doing normal stuff, as long as your bank, for example, doesn't have PNG images, it's fine.
Or at least the malformed ones that it seems to have trouble with.
Yeah, the malformed, yeah.
And if that is the case, we will have Browser NG. It is available in the Open Store for you to use.
Yeah.
Okay. That is OTA4 for right now. Except we have another thing that's also related to OTA4. It's not too late to get in on the Ubuntu Touch Culture Showcase, everyone. So this is an event where we are taking submissions from the community for wallpapers, sounds, ringtones, and songs, which will be included in another version of Ubuntu Touch as the default ringtones and wallpapers. Unlike what was said last time, this isn't a contest. This is a celebration of the artists in our community. We do have a question this week. How can I help if I'm not a developer? This is one of those ways. If you are in sound design or photography or abstract art, this is one of those ways where you can contribute to Ubuntu Touch. July 30th is the last day to submit your wallpaper sound, song, or ringtone. Sound, by sound I mean notification sound, the pops and dings and things like that. I am linking that in the YouTube live chat. Oop, that's not the right link. Put that back. Copy, paste. Also not the right link. Wow, I'm doing good. There. Took 3 tries, but I linked it. So that is where you can go to get that information.
Yes.
Okay, let's pause for our sponsors, everyone. So thank you, everyone who's supporting us on LibrePay, PayPal, Patreon, and with a Bitcoin donation. We have a special shout out this week to Morgan McMillan, who is one of our topper tier patrons on Patreon. To all of our LibrePay sponsors, LibrePay, what do they call them? Patrons?
Also patrons.
Patrons? I think I've asked that before. I'm sorry. LibrePay is having some trouble right now. They are being kicked out by their Mango Pay payment processor. LibrePay isn't shutting down, but you do need to choose whether you would like the money that is currently in your wallet to be dispersed to the people who you are a donor of, or if you would like to have it refunded to your bank account. Information to do that is on their Medium blog, and there's also a new page called Emptying Your Wallet on LibrePay's About area. And you will need to get in there, and I believe the date was the July 26th, but you should really be doing that as soon as possible just to make sure that what you want to do with your money gets executed for you.
I don't think they know the date, but I think that's...
right, it was as early as the 26th, that's right.
Yeah. They had a pretty bad experience with Mango Pay. It seems like they just, without warning, just kicked them out. So it was really, really sad to see that. I really liked LibrePay. So I hope they can recover from this.
I think they'll come out of this better, but it'll just be a little bit of a shaky point.
Yeah.
For a little bit. We do have a question. When will shirts be shipped for patrons? Do we have a date, Jan?
Any day now. Sorry, it hasn't been shipped yet. So it always takes a couple of days until Patreon notifies us who has paid their pledge and where problems were and so on. So it will happen any day now.
Yep.
I will also write a post on Patreon, of course, as soon as that happens.
Excellent. Well, that was our pause for sponsors. Thank you, everyone, again, who is donating to UBports. And if you would like to join in, you can go to ubports.com/donate. We have a few questions this week that came in from the forum and from YouTube and Telegram live chats. It is a little hard to keep all of these under wraps, so woohoo. We'll start with one that references our last topic. Marius, you said that it's mainly ping images that are causing Oxide to crash. Will that solve the Telegram web app issues? When we changed web apps to use Qt Web Engine, there's the clock, rather than Oxide, yeah, that will fix the issue. But
definitely,
for now, that's still a problem.
What you can do, you can download browser.ng and go to web.telegram.com.org. I think it is com.org.
.org.com.
.org. Yeah, .org.com. So yeah, you can use the browser.ng and still log into if you want to use the web app or the web version of Telegram, and you can kind of test it out how it will be later. Well, not how it will be, but how browser.ng will work. Even though it's still fairly unstable, it was a fairly quick porting effort. It hasn't got as much love as it will get. We are now wanting to pour more effort into it, but we want to get this release as close as we want out the door before we start investing heavily on the browser side of things, because it will take time.
Seamus, yes, I still remember how to pronounce your name, in Telegram asked if we are on the Xennial RC, can we move to OTA 4 when it's released by switching to stable in the update settings? Yes.
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 On our forum, we had a few questions. The first, I'm not a developer. How can I help Ubuntu Touch? And well, we get this question a lot, and I have an answer for you. So first, if you're multilingual, if you know English and another language, or any combination of languages I suppose would work as well, you can translate the core apps, the OS, and our documentation all at translate.ubports.com. .com. There are a few other apps on that site that you can also translate. I believe Deco is there, and one or two others.
OpenStore.
Yeah, that can be translated.
Yeah.
So that is translate.ubports.com. Are you a technical writer? Have you ever written documentation for an open source project? Well, at github.com/ubports/docs.ubports.com, we have our documentation, which is written in restructured text and built with Sphinx on Read the Docs. Sphinx. Easy for me to say. Are you a writer of philosophical posts or tutorials, such as blog posts? We've got a blogging team, a writers team that handles that kind of thing. If you'd like to get involved with that, just message me and I will see what I can do. Do you own an Ubuntu Touch device? Well, you can check out bugs that have the needs confirmation tag on the Ubuntu Touch bug tracker. That's github.com/ubports/ubuntu-touch, and try to make that same bug happen on your device. You can also join our QA team, which does that in a more structured way, and also tests that bugs that we fix are actually fixed. Message Jan for that, I believe. Yup. Nod yes. Or if you're just a user of Ubuntu Touch and you know a few things about it, you can join us on Matrix #ubports:/matrix.org, Telegram @ubports, or on our forum, that's forums.ubports.com, to help other people use Ubuntu Touch. Things are moving as I'm doing this. Thank you. If you are a graphic designer or a user experience designer, we have a group for that too. Message me about that one. I'm at Universal Superbox on Telegram, or I don't know how usernames work on Matrix. Universalsuperbox:/matrix.org if you'd like to PM me there, or on the forum. That works too. We have PMs on the forum. The last point, I don't think this one's really helpful, guys. Says, become a developer. Learn JavaScript. It's fun.
For you guys that don't understand,
I mean, there are a couple of ways you could help with development work as well, where you don't have to have that much experience. So that would be, for example, QML, which is the language that most graphical apps are written in, or of course JavaScript, which also integrates with QML. And also our websites, of course, heavily rely on JavaScript. For example, if you want to get started with app development, there's the documentation on docs.ubports.com, and there's also a book being written by some community members that people can actually follow if they don't have any previous development experience. So that might be interesting for some. Of course, it's not for everyone, but it might be possible to get started with development work like that as well.
Yeah, one thing also I can mention is for example, going on the repositories, cleaning up stuff, and for example, there might be some spelling mistakes in comments, in readmes, restructuring stuff that is in the wrong place, cleaning up readme files, and I already said that, but cleaning up, yeah, general just maintenance inside a repository is also possible to do without any development knowledge. And there is plenty of things that doesn't even have a README, for example, that might actually
Or the one from Launchpad, and it says go to ubuntu.com to do this, and it's like, I don't think they can do that anymore.
And also stuff that just have a README that says the project name and that's it. So there is a lot of repositories we have like that, and what the README should have is building structure and what it is. I think that's the major part of it. So there is a lot of cleaning up to do, and to get more suited for being contracting other developers, because right now, as I said before, there is a lot of undocumented stuff that even I have to dig into to find out what the thing is. So,
and you really don't have to know how to code for that or know the language that the repository is written in. You just need to be adventurous enough to read a plaintext file and work with plaintext files, essentially.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. If you need help with any of that, feel free to message me. Jan, will you extend the same?
Sure. Yeah, I'm at Neo3rd on Telegram and at Neo3rd:matrix or matrix.
And if you try to message Marius, he has like 4 pages of PMs, so that one might not work as well all the time.
Don't message Marius.
4 pages. I think I have, to be honest, I have like 1,000 unread messages, and that's no.
I could not function.
No. There's 1,000 unread messages without groups. Because of groups, there's many thousands, but without groups, I have over 1,000 unread.
Yeah, so messaging Marius, not the best plan. He gets a lot of messages.
Well, if it's important, of course. If it's developer topic, but then of course do it. but it might not come answered that fast, because honestly, sometimes I don't see them because they have fallen.
So if it's important but you don't need an answer, message Marius.
Get Jan to message me, then it works.
Then it works.
That actually happens quite a lot.
That happens quite often, actually. Yes, it does. That's a frequent occurrence.
Because Jan, I remember, so I actually check if it is messaged from Jan or Dalton. So.
I am special.
Okay, so that's how you can help if you're not a developer.
Perfect.
We have a couple more questions from the forum that are basically each other except reversed. So this is kind of neat. First, there are a lot of enhancements listed for OTA 5 on GitHub. Yes, there are. That's something that we are going to redo, because basically what we were doing is, okay, we're not able to do that for OTA 4, let's push it to OTA 5, and now OTA 5 is huge. So we need to rework that a bit. Are you instead considering restricting OTA 5 to bug fixes and moving to 1804 as soon as possible? No. So what we're going to do once we're on 1604, and we do have documentation and things in the works for saying this, moving to 1804 quickly is not a... it's not a very good plan, because 1804 requires systemd for one thing, and right now Ubuntu Touch is running on Upstart as its init system, and things like Ubuntu App Launch, that's the thing that actually makes apps come up when you tap on them in the launcher, and things like that depend on Upstart. We also have the older version of Mir and Unity 8 and libhybris, all of which probably won't work very well on 1804. So if we wanted to move right away, we would end up with another long release window, which we don't want to do again. We want to be able to get a more stable cadence running. with our stable updates. So what we're going to do, well, let's bring the next question in here. Would it be an idea to skip the 1804 LTS altogether and focus on features and polish until development starts on 2004 and start migrating either in November 2019 or March 2020?
This is far ahead on what we have been planning. We never know what happens. Developments, it's moving super quickly, and especially we don't know what will even be included in that version of Ubuntu, and that's one thing. And systemd is also getting system everything, so we don't know if it's even possible to run systemd on the devices. And there's a lot of factors that that we can't say right now that that's the plan. Of course, we have to move at the base at some point, but we want to do that in a more as Dalton said, we don't want to have this as we had now. We had a kind of a get our heads completely just senial mode and just go, because it's an intense amount of work we have done now, and we have done the heavy lifting, and we don't want to do this again, and we don't need to, because we can go. Now we have an up-to-date base. We don't have to move so quickly. We can update Mir, as you said. We can update Unity 8 and get everything up to a state where we then can move on to the next version, because then we have all the up-to-date components and we know those will work on the newer version of Ubuntu, because we have already desktop builds that's working there. But all of them are so light years ahead in the packaging numbers, because they are a newer version of pretty much everything. And we don't even know if they will function on a device, on a mobile phone. We don't know how they will scale. There's so many factors that, of course, we will have to move base sooner or later. But there's no immediately plan right now. Our plan is to senial, get newer version of Mir, newer version of Hybris, get Holium correctly, and get all those good parts. Looking for like Andbox.
All right.
So anyways, it's no secret that moving to 1604 already took a lot longer than we anticipated. And there's at the moment, it just doesn't offer anything new to go to 1804. So as Mario said, moving to the latest libhybris, moving to the latest Mir, and also the latest Unity 8 and some other components that are now maintained by us, where we are not using the latest development version. That is the highest priority. And then we hope, of course, that we don't have to use up the entire time frame of 1604 being supported until 2021. But there's just no way to say that for sure yet. And it doesn't offer any advantage to move to 1804, so it's definitely not happening within the next year.
Yep, we're going to stick on 1604. We're going to do the things that we want to do, all the cool features that everyone's waiting for, get Libertine nice, get convergence running, get Andbox actually running on all devices and nice.
Yeah.
That being said, some of the work to make systemd work properly can happen in parallel. So that can also happen on the desktop, of course. And as the team is growing, it's likely that there will be progress made there. So by the time that 2004 enters a design stage, we might be a lot farther along already. So it will be a lot easier in the future, hopefully.
But also saying this is for, we are talking about the stable thing now. There's nothing in the way of creating experimental images that is half broken and stuff like that. That's still stuff we can do, but now we are talking about the stable and usable daily drivers.
Yeah, we are also not restricted in like opening new channels. So that's, for example, also what we did for 1604, as you all know. So we just created a separate release channel where we have a separate QA process that is completely decoupled from what's happening in 1504. So that's no problem at all. And so yeah, that might happen as well. And of course, it's a community, and we don't dictate what everybody else is doing. So if someone comes in and just starts squashing bugs in 1804, sure.
Which is happening because specifically Ivan, I hope I pronounced your name right. I know you were yelling at us about the pronunciation of your name. Has been working on porting Unity 8 to Arch, and with that comes changes for systemd and changes for newer versions of basically everything that exists. And the Python interpreter being wrong. Shots fired. So yes, all of that work is going to happen in parallel. It's just not going to be the stable branch. Oh, he's typing. What did I say his name right?
I want to also say this. I was so happy yesterday when I saw he sent a picture of a working Unity 8. I was such a happy man. It's so amazing, and some might don't understand the amazing. But man, it's amazing. It's amazing to get something that's it's so big. It's so much code. It's a amazing amount of code, and was pretty much restricted to only Ubuntu at some time. It's now been decoupled, and we are getting it into Arch, and we are planning to get it into Debian, and also getting it as a mainstream desktop environment that can run on any distro, which is such an amazing thing. And I have to praise Ivan again for doing this, because it's such an intense amount of work. There's so many packages, and there is circle dependencies, and there is build issues, and the newer version of everything. I know this firsthand because I did it for Bionic, and it's a lot of work. So praise Ivan again.
Again. Yeah, so you can install that. I believe it's all in the AUR right now. Correct? This means yes, this means no.
I think so. I think Ivan, I think he has I know he has a Telegram channel where all the information is on. I'm not sure if it's installable yet. That I don't know.
Someone's working on Fedora as well, right? Just saw that in the chat, and I think I remember something.
I saw someone working on that.
Oh, it's not in the AUR. I was wrong. It's not GitHub for now. Oh, okay.
I'm not sure. I haven't seen this Fedora. I have seen some chat about it, but I don't know the status about it. So.
Well,
it's on GitHub, he says. So, yeah.
That would be github.com/Vanyasem. Vanyas. Yeah. VANYASEM.
He's also filing pull requests like crazy to the
Yep,
UBports.
everything that we have. Oh, how wonderful. There are so many emojis here. Okay, there's a plane, everyone.
Okay, so
these are the parts that we would edit out if we had an editor.
Planes happens in Germany, apparently. So this is a personal request from Ivan here. He wanted a shout out for Lera from Belarus, if I butchered that. Belarus. Hello, Lera. I don't know you, but hello.
Okay. Oh, yep. There's the Unity 8 port for Fedora. That is happening too. Wow, that's a lot of distros that are going to have Unity 8.
Oh, this is awesome.
That's cool. We're getting distracted.
Yeah. I'm getting amazed. Oh, man. Okay. Continue, Dalton. Do the thing.
Do the thing. I can do the thing. No problem. Well, this has been the UBports community update. That's not what it is anymore. The Ubuntu Touch Q&A, number 32. You can find us on tons of social media. We have a Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, Google+, Mastodon, and Diaspora. And we're UBports on all of those platforms. You can also chat with us on Telegram at UBports or Matrix, #UBports:matrix.org. You can get in touch with us on our forum at forums.ubports.com. And this is all of the ways that you can get more of us during the 2 weeks or so between every episode. We'll see you again probably in 2 weeks on the 28th of July. At around the same time, at around the same place. So thank you again, everyone, so much for watching. Leave a comment. Let us know how we did.
Smash
the like button. And we will see you all next time. Bye.
Bye.